Hello from Ижевsk. This is a podcast Pigeon of Peace where we do discuss awesome skills of troubleshooters. Watch, listen, and check the description below for the details. Let's talk about temperament and let's start with the definition.
Temperament was firstly described by Hippocrates or Hippocratus, how to say in English?
Hippocrates is better.
Hippocratus.
Yes.
Yes? Okay. And he was saying that there are several liquids in the human body and the mixture will create pressure on your mood, on your character, and will define your temperament. And it is a very famous picture of several people who sitting in the bench and react on the same situation like someone sit on the head of another. And temperament is a very solid part of your personality. Several weeks ago, I read the book, and it was about how people could change. I have a discussion, not open one. I don't know how to say. Заочная дискуссия.
Pre-discussion or like a offline
Discussion. Thank you. Offline discussion with some coaches. And they are very offended because I often say people do not change. And those coaches say, okay, people do not change, but people could shift. I was saying, but what could be shifted? For example, mood, emotions, yes. But I don't know how to say me image, я образ,
self-image.
me image and character, and also temperament couldn't be changed. If you are phlegmatic and you are walking slowly, speaking slowly, thinking slowly, it would be with you all the time. Yes, you could have exercises, and you will, for example, could be for 15 or 20% faster, but not as sanguinic or choleric. So temperament will define the speed how you fly or maybe swim.
Well, initially I was thinking about like planning this discussion, by looking into like what is a temperament and like different aspects. Now I probably will switch gears and maybe we'll speak about updating or discussing the temperament if we do want to achieve something, because we also may have like a different goals. We might be speaking with the different people who just, I would consider it as the interface of interacting. So whether it's possible to develop or build or at least set layer or slash some layers in order to at least show the temperament or control it or maybe modify the visible aspects of the temperament.
Let's start with our body. If you will see to the Phelps, he is maybe the famous swimmer, you will see that he has a very long arms. So he devoted to swim. If you will see the people, you will understand that sometimes they have the job which do not suit to their temperament. For example, if you are too melancholic, you could go and work as a lab geek. If, for example, you phlegma, you could work as IT guy. If you're choleric or if you are sanguinic, better to work on the front line to speak with people. If phlegma would work with someone who want to buy something, it wouldn't work. If, for example, very sad person will sit on the desk, you will never think that this hotel is fancy. So first choice is to recognize your temperament and use it for your best, and never to take part in some business which need another kind of temperament.
And sometimes we also might be interacting with the different temperaments, and they also might be perceiving us in a completely different way, not only themselves, but maybe the way we behave, say, or actually not behave. So how to adjust, or maybe we don't need to adjust, but we need to find a way, at least, okay, something that would come to my mind, not us, but maybe we could find someone else who actually would go and act. So what other mechanics for efficient communication with other people, with other temperaments potentially exist?
Let's take several situations like at job, like at home and with friends. Let's imagine that you are going to drink beer with all people with a very bad mood. You will have maybe average mood, but after several pintas, you will get bored, you will want to go home, you will get tired. Or for example, if you just lazy one and you will go somewhere on the car shop or repair shop and everyone is moving very fast, you will find that it is not your current, not your stream, not your music. So better not to work, to deal, to live with people with your temperament, because in these cases you will be twice happier or twice I don't know, twice fed. A lot of researchers shows us that people like magnets. Plus will attract minus, and it is a very big mistake to find the second half of yourself to be the same temperament.
Well, funny enough, sometimes I do believe, yes, that, like there might be like multipliers or vice versa. It could be like a division to whatever you are exposed to. And I do remember like some time ago, I was reading in the book of Guy Kawasaki, like how to deal with the like assholes, like in a startups or like in the companies. So what they said, like the person with a certain temperament, if especially they are on the top, they actually would poison, or vice versa, they would heal the structure around them. So when we speak about the same case, but in this option we have someone who is not only like having a certain very expressfully developed temperament, but they also have a different leverage like administrative or like anything else. So how to deal with such people, and do you need to suppress or express your temperament if you do want to thrive or you just want to achieve certain things?
I was working on the project, and there were some people from Germany, from Ukraine, and from India. And Germans, they were thinking that Indian and Ukrainians are kindly sick because Ukrainian would always be late. Indian will always tell the not truth. So they were trying to hide uh, to to make something bad. And German were saying it is a huge mistake to work in such an environment. So you could think about yourself as a liquid. And if you have a very high density, if you will meet the same liquid, it would not mixture. It will stay almost the same. It would be no exchange of thoughts, of mood, of knowledge. But if you will sometime find someone like a bleach, and suddenly you will be dissolved and you will find yourself in a very fast dance, and maybe 90% of everything would be done by someone else. Yes, there is a lot of words in English which describe not healthy environment, like toxic one. And some people, they are so toxic as friends, as spouse, as boss, that it is not worth any salary to work with them. But in under some circumstances, you will work with people who have a light soul, polite tongue, and they would discourage you, and you will work like reactively,
Reactive.
like reactive engine, and you will go up to the sky.
Well, yeah, I think it's, yeah, sometimes people actually could mark something with their words. And when we speak about, like working with a group or like maybe working with a family, sometimes we do, need to walk in someone else's shoes in order to understand it, not only from a business point of view, but maybe even from character point of view, what certain situations could damage it. Maybe I'll give an example. In one of the companies, it was mandatory to actually work as a support agent during the onboarding. So basically, you would go into the shop, you would try to pick some stuff, pick some grocery, and you would actually have to deal with the client who could be angry, who could be happy. And what I realized about those people, they actually were like I would say, phlegmatic melancholic. They would take things easier, slower, calm down. And again, like after a couple of months, we were like as a tech team or maybe other teams, we were invited to the support team, where actually they only would get like a lot of, I would say, bad stuff coming in, because no one would call the support to say like, hey guys, you actually awesome. It was quite versa. Again, same type of the people. And then I realized that, like it's also part of the character to deal with a certain problem. And sometimes you need to walk in someone else's shoes to understand what kind of character they have to deal with it. So how to develop it and whether it's actually needed.
You know, it remind me of the time when I was responsible for antivirus protection. I wrote my first antivirus, and I was invited by people who has computer, money, and problem. And they were asking, "Can you please cure our computers?" And you know, I was trying to do something, and people were just trying to be in two stages. From one point of view, computer was very expensive, like 1.5 US dollar a thousand. And you know, at this point, my salary was like $50. So like 3 years, it would be not enough to collect money for this computer. But from other part, they have no other chance, just me. So they were just angry that I would touch their keyboard, but from other part, they have nothing to do. And then sometime I would say, I would see the same with fancy bag or fancy cars. People will take the fancy car to the car repair, and they will say, please be careful. But you know, no one would be careful. It's just usual job. The same would be with fancy bag. I have seen like in Moscow they were repaired, and it is just not a gentle touches like you will see in the movie. It's just usual movements. And if you have a fragile soul, if you have special temperament, maybe you will burst out and you will say and shut out, and you will say very angry words. But sometimes you should step out and understand that people know what they do, and you shouldn't intervene.
And we reviewed the skill of temperament and how it could be helpful for you stay in peace.